Wednesday morning arrived with the kind of lazy stillness that made Jade want to declare it a pajama day and never leave the house. Victor was still recovering from their Hershey Park adventure, and while he looked considerably better than he had last night after feeding, there was still a lingering exhaustion in the way he moved. Nothing obvious, he was too controlled for that, but Jade could feel it through their bond. The bone-deep weariness that even vampire healing couldn't immediately erase. "You're hovering," Victor observed from the couch, where he'd been sitting since she'd come downstairs an hour ago. He was wearing the charcoal button-down she'd bought him at Target, sleeves rolled up, looking unfairly attractive for someone who was supposed to be recuperating. "I'm not hovering, I'm being attentive. There's a difference. You have checked on me 7 times in the past hour. That qualifies as hovering. I've checked on you 3 times. You're exaggerating. 7 times. Once when you brought me coffee I cannot drink. Once when you asked if I needed a blanket despite vampires not experiencing temperature discomfort. Once when you... Okay, fine. I'm hovering. Sue me for caring about your well-being." Jade plopped down on the couch beside him, pulling her knees up to her chest. She was still in her pajamas, an oversized underworld t-shirt that Victor had raised an eyebrow at this morning, and shorts that were definitely too short for November, but perfectly acceptable for lounging. "How are you feeling? Honestly." "Improved. Your blood is extraordinarily restorative. I suspect I will be fully recovered by this evening. So we're spending the day being lazy and domestic." "That appears to be the plan, unless you have obligations I'm unaware of." "Nope, no work until tomorrow. No classes. Melissa's busy with her anatomy lab. My mom texted that she picked up another shift because apparently the hospital is understaffed and she's some kind of nursing superhero." Jade grabbed her laptop from the coffee table, which means we have an entire day to do absolutely nothing productive. "An appealing prospect. What did you have in mind?" "Education. Cultural education." Jade opened her laptop, the screen illuminating her face in that particular blue glow that Victor found endlessly fascinating. "Yesterday, I showed you physical entertainment, roller coasters, carnival games, funnel cake. Today, I'm going to show you the internet's true purpose. Which is wasting time in the most entertaining way possible." Victor shifted slightly, angling himself so he could see the screen. "I have been researching through your electronic devices. I understand the basic concept of the internet, a global network of information exchange." "Oh, sweet summer child. The internet stopped being about information exchange like 20 years ago. Now it's about memes, cat videos, and people arguing about things that don't matter." Jade pulled up YouTube, her fingers flying across the keyboard with practiced ease. "I'm going to introduce you to the weird and wonderful world of internet culture. Prepare to have your 800-year-old mind blown." I am uncertain if I should be excited or concerned. "Both. Definitely both." She started with the basics, explaining what YouTube was, a platform where anyone could upload videos about anything. The algorithm, the comment sections, the bizarre ecosystem of content creators and viewers. Victor listened with that intense focus of his, occasionally asking questions that made Jade realize how much she took for granted. "So anyone can create content?" he asked. "There is no governing body that determines what is appropriate." "I mean, there are community guidelines and stuff, but basically yeah. Anyone with a camera and an internet connection can upload whatever they want. Democracy in action." "That seems like a recipe for chaos." "It absolutely is. That's what makes it great." Jade pulled up her YouTube homepage, which was an eclectic mix of recommendations based on her viewing history, cooking channels, true crime, video essays about films, makeup tutorials she'd watched once at 3 in the morning, and now the algorithm thought she was obsessed with contouring. "This is my feed, personalized content based on what I've watched before. The algorithm tracks my viewing habits and suggests similar content." Victor's expression shifted to something between fascination and horror. "The machine learns your preferences and uses that information to manipulate your viewing choices?" When you put it like that, it sounds dystopian. But yeah, basically. Welcome to modern technology. Everything's tracking you and using your data to sell you things, or keep you engaged. I dislike that intensely. Most people do. We just accept it because the alternative is not having instant access to videos of dogs riding skateboards, and that's a sacrifice no one's willing to make. Dogs ride skateboards? Oh, Victor, you have so much to learn. She spent the next hour taking him on a tour of internet culture. She showed him viral videos that had become cultural touchstones. Charlie Bit My Finger, Keyboard Cat, The Evolution of Dance. Victor watched each one with the concentration of a general studying battle tactics, trying to understand what made these particular videos so significant. The child bites his brother's finger, Victor said after watching Charlie bit my finger. This is noteworthy? It's cute. And it went viral before viral was really a thing. It's internet history. I've seen children bite each other in my time. It was not considered entertainment. Yeah, well, you didn't have YouTube in the 13th century. Different standards. She showed him memes next, which required extensive explanation. The concept of an image or video that gets remixed and shared across the internet, evolving with each iteration, taking on new meanings and contexts. Victor struggled with this more than anything else she'd shown him. So, this image of a frog, he said, studying the Pepe meme with intense confusion. It began as a simple cartoon character, but has been appropriated by various groups to express different sentiments, some of which are contradictory to the original intent. Exactly. You're getting it. I do not understand why this is appealing. Because it's participatory culture. People take something and make it their own. It's collaborative creativity. It seems needlessly complicated. Most good things are. Victor was more receptive to educational content. She showed him science channels that explained complex concepts through animation, history channels that covered periods he'd actually lived through, which led to some entertaining commentary about historical inaccuracies, and nature documentaries that he watched with genuine interest. This is remarkable, he said during a clip about deep-sea creatures. In my time, we knew nothing of these beings. The ocean was a mystery, and now humans have machines that can descend to depths previously unreachable, documenting life in absolute darkness. Humans are pretty good at figuring things out when we put our minds to it. Took us a while, but we got there. The octopus is quite intelligent. Octopi are disturbingly intelligent. Some scientists think if humans went extinct, octopi would probably be the next species to develop advanced civilization. I find that oddly comforting. At least something would survive humanity's inevitable self-destruction. Wow, dark, but probably accurate. Jade showed him cooking channels next, which Victor found particularly engaging given his newfound ability to taste food. He watched chefs prepare elaborate meals with the focus of someone taking notes for later. This technique of deglazing the pan, he said, watching Gordon Ramsay make a sauce, it is similar to methods I recall from my time, but more refined. The precision is impressive. Gordon Ramsay is aggressively talented, also aggressively British. There's a whole subgenre of cooking shows where chefs just yell at people. Why would anyone watch that? Because watching British people yell is entertaining. I don't make the rules. They moved on to reaction videos, people filming themselves reacting to other videos. Victor found this concept particularly baffling. People watch other people watch things, why not simply watch the original content? Because watching someone else's reaction adds another layer of experience, like watching a movie with friends versus alone. The shared experience makes it better. I suppose I understand that logic, though it seems redundant. Welcome to the internet. Redundancy is kind of our brand. By early afternoon, Victor was looking noticeably more relaxed. The exhaustion Jade had felt through that bond was fading, replaced by something approaching contentment. He was getting the hang of internet culture, even if he didn't fully understand the appeal of most of it. Okay, Jade said, pulling up a new search. I think you're ready for the final boss of internet content. The final boss? Gaming reference. The ultimate challenge. In this case, she turned the laptop toward him with a flourish. Funny animal videos. Victor looked at the screen, which displayed a compilation titled Best Funny Animal Videos 2024. Animals doing amusing things? Animals doing the funniest things. This is peak internet, Victor. This is what the technology was invented for. Scientists developed global communication networks so that we could share videos of cats falling off furniture. Everything else is secondary. That seems like a waste of remarkable technology. Just watch. Jade hit play, and the video began. A cat misjudging a jump and sliding off a counter. A dog experiencing snow for the first time, leaping around with pure joy. A parrot dancing to music with better rhythm than most humans. A raccoon washing cotton candy in water and looking devastated when it dissolved. Victor watched in silence, his expression carefully neutral. Jade could feel his emotions through their bond, confusion mostly, trying to understand why this content was considered entertaining. But then a video played of a husky throwing a dramatic tantrum, complete with howling complaints about having to go in its crate, and something shifted. Victor's mouth twitched. It was subtle. Most people wouldn't have caught it, but Jade had been studying his face for days now, learning to read the micro-expressions that flickered across his usually stoic features. That twitch was the precursor to a smile. The compilation continued. A goat fainting from surprise. A golden retriever refusing to walk past a cat, clearly terrified despite being 3 times its size. A hamster stuffing its cheeks so full of food it could barely move. A penguin slapping another penguin for no apparent reason. For no apparent reason. Victor's mouth twitched again. You think it's funny, Jade said, trying not to sound too triumphant. I do not. You absolutely do. I can see it. You're fighting a smile right now. I'm merely observing the animal's behavior. Some of it is admittedly unexpected. You think it's hilarious. I think no such thing. A new video started playing. A cat startled by a cucumber, launching itself approximately 4 feet straight up in the air. Victor made a sound. Not quite a laugh, but definitely not nothing. A sharp exhale that might have been amusement. Was that a laugh? Jade demanded. Absolutely not. I was merely clearing my respiratory system. You don't need to breathe. Your respiratory system is optional. Never led. The video continued. More cats, more dogs, more inexplicable animal chaos. A bird stealing food directly out of someone's hand. A baby elephant discovering its trunk, clearly having no idea what to do with it. A seal making a sound that could only be described as absolutely ridiculous. Victor was definitely fighting a smile now. Jade could see it in the tension around his eyes, the way his jaw was clenched just slightly. He was determined not to give her the satisfaction of laughing at funny animal videos. It was possibly the most endearing thing she'd ever witnessed. Just laugh, Jade said. I know you want to. It's okay to find joy in stupid things. That's what makes us human. I'm not human. You're human enough for this. A video played of a dog, one of those big fluffy breeds, trying to walk through a door while carrying a stick that was far too wide to fit. The dog kept trying over and over, refusing to drop the stick or turn sideways, just repeatedly bonking the stick against the doorframe with increasing frustration. Victor lost it. It started as a quiet chuckle, barely audible, but then it built, growing into genuine laughter that transformed his entire face. Not the small, almost smiles Jade had occasionally coaxed from him, but real, full laughter that crinkled his eyes and showed teeth, and made him look 800 years younger. Jade stared, momentarily stunned by the transformation. This was Victor, as he might have been before 8 centuries of war and loss and isolation. This was the man underneath the vampire, the person behind the warlord, and he was laughing at a dog carrying a stick. I cannot believe, Victor managed between laughs, that this is what breaks my composure. Not battle, not danger, not centuries of hardship. A dog with insufficient spatial awareness. The stick was objectively too big for the door. The dog's confidence was admirable, but deeply misplaced. The dog is an idiot. The dog is doing its best. Victor was still laughing, the sound rich and genuine and beautiful. Jade felt her chest tighten with emotion. She'd seen him smile, seen him almost laugh, but this was different. This was unguarded joy, and it was apparently triggered by stupid internet videos of animals. The video continued, and Victor kept laughing. Not constantly. He'd regained control for a moment, composing himself with visible effort, and then another ridiculous animal video would play, and he'd lose it again. A cat running face first into a glass door. A squirrel launching itself from a bird feeder with terrible aim. A goose chasing a human with unjustified aggression. The goose has chosen violence, Victor said, watching the goose video with tears in his eyes from laughing. For no reason, simply violence. Geese are agents of chaos. They exist to cause problems. I respect that. A creature dedicated purely to creating difficulties for others, admirable in its simplicity. They watched the entire compilation, then another one, then a third. Victor had given up any pretense of maintaining his dignity, laughing freely at the animal chaos unfolding on screen. Jade joined him, their laughter feeding off each other, creating a feedback loop of joy. By the time they finished the third compilation, they were both exhausted from laughing, Jade's face hurting from smiling, Victor looking more relaxed than she'd ever seen him. That was ridiculous, he said, wiping his eyes. That was perfect. I laughed at a raccoon trying to catch bubbles. I have been reduced to finding amusement in a raccoon. The raccoon was adorable, and you know it. The raccoon was moderately charming. I will concede that much. Jade saved the video to her favorites, already planning to show him more. This was a breakthrough. Victor laughing freely, letting go of centuries of control, allowing himself to find joy in something utterly stupid. It felt significant in a way she couldn't quite articulate. Can I show you one more thing? She asked. It involves more animals doing foolish things, absolutely. Not animals, humans. Specifically, humans failing at things. She pulled up a compilation of people falling, tripping, missing high fives, generally experiencing minor physical comedy at their own expense. Victor watched with less amusement than animal videos, his expression thoughtful. These individuals are not seriously injured, he asked, watching someone slip on ice in a particularly spectacular fashion. No, that's the rule. If someone actually gets hurt, it's not funny. These are just minor mishaps. Embarrassing, but harmless. I see. In my time, we would laugh at people's misfortune as well, but often the consequences were far more severe. A knight falling from his horse might break bones, a servant dropping something valuable might face punishment. The humor was darker. Yeah, well, we've evolved. Now we just laugh at people slipping on ice and walking into poles because they were looking at their phones. Victor watched more clips, occasionally chuckling. But I admit, there is something universally amusing about someone walking into a glass door. The confidence immediately before impact, followed by absolute confusion. It transcends time and culture. See? Physical comedy is eternal. Three Stooges, Charlie Chaplin, people falling down, it's all the same principle. Humans like watching other humans experience minor chaos. Power because it makes us feel better about our own shortcomings. If even others fail at simple tasks, our own failures seem less significant. Look at you, doing philosophical about failed compilations. Character growth. They spent the rest of the afternoon in comfortable companionship, Jade introducing Victor to various corners of internet culture. She showed him TikTok, which she found simultaneously fascinating and disturbing. The concept of people creating short videos for strangers' entertainment, the weird trends that emerged and faded, the whole bizarre ecosystem of influencers and content creators. This person has millions of followers, Victor said, watching a popular TikToker, simply for showing their daily life, no particular skill or talent, just documentation of existence. Welcome to influencer culture. People are famous for being famous now. It's very meta. I do not understand this world. Nobody does. We're all just pretending. She showed him Twitter, explaining the concept of microblogging, how conversations happen in threads, how quickly things could spiral into chaos. Victor read through some trending topics with increasing bewilderment. People arguing about whether a hot dog is a sandwich. This is what humans dedicate mental energy to? That's actually a deeply important philosophical question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? The answer has implications for taxonomy, linguistics, cultural identity. It is bread with meat inside. The specific categorization is irrelevant. Victor, I'm going to need you to take this more seriously. The hot dog question matters. It absolutely does not. Is a taco a sandwich? No. Why not? It's a carbohydrate vessel containing filling. Because. Victor paused, clearly realizing he'd been drawn into an argument he never intended to have. You are deliberately provoking me. I'm educating you on important cultural debates. There's a difference. You are ridiculous. You love me anyway. Unfortunately, yes. Jade showed him Reddit next, explaining the concept of subreddits, upvotes, the weird collective consciousness that emerged from anonymous internet users. She pulled up some of the more wholesome subreddits. R for cute animals, r/wholesome memes for positive content, r/humans being bros for people doing nice things. Victor read through several posts in silence, occasionally clicking on links, learning to navigate the interface. When he looked up, his expression was thoughtful. The internet is not entirely chaos and stupidity, he said. No, there's good stuff mixed in, you just have to know where to look. These stories of strangers helping strangers, communities supporting each other through difficulties, is heartening. In my time, such acts of kindness existed, but they were rarely documented or shared widely. Now anyone can see examples of human decency. Yeah, the internet can be really beautiful sometimes. When people aren't arguing about hot dog taxonomy or sending death threats over shipping preferences. Shipping preferences? Oh god, I'm not explaining fandom culture to you today. That's a whole separate lesson requiring significant emotional preparation. I'm concerned by that statement. You should be. As evening approached, Jade ordered Chinese food for dinner. Victor had expressed interest in trying it after seeing several cooking videos about various Asian cuisines. When it arrived, they spread the containers across the coffee table, Jade explaining each dish. This is lo mein, soft noodles with vegetables and meat. This is General Tso's chicken, which is sweet and spicy. This is fried rice, and these are spring rolls. Victor tried each dish methodically, analyzing flavors and textures with the same focus he brought to everything. The lo mein got an approving nod. The General Tso's chicken made his eyes widen. This has significant heat, he said. Too spicy? No, invigorating. I enjoy it. They ate while watching more YouTube videos, falling into an easy rhythm of eating and laughing and commentary. Jade showed Victor Gordon Ramsay compilations, which he found both entertaining and educational. She showed him TED Talks about various topics, science, philosophy, history. He watched with rapt attention, occasionally pausing to ask questions or discuss points that interested him. This speaker discusses the nature of consciousness. Victor said during one video, do you believe consciousness survives death? that something essential continues after the body ceases? I mean, you're proof that something continues. You died, in a sense, when you returned, but you're still you. Your memories, your personality, your essence, it all survived the transformation. But am I truly still the same person I was before? Or am I something new that merely carries the memories of who I was? That's getting deep for Chinese food and YouTube tonight. You were the one who introduced philosophical content. Fair point. Okay, deep thoughts time. I think you're still you. Changed, definitely. But the core of who you are, your values, your capacity for love, your terrible sense of humor about carrying sticks through doors, that's the same. The vampire thing just added new layers to someone who already existed. You believe the soul is immutable? I believe people are more than just their circumstances. You've been through unimaginable changes over 800 years. But you're still capable of laughing at raccoons and worrying about my well-being and trying to figure out where hot dogs are sandwiches. That's not vampire Victor or human Victor. That's just Victor. He was quiet for a moment, then reached over and took her hand. You have a remarkable way of making existential questions seem manageable. It's a gift. Also, I'm avoiding my own existential dread by focusing on yours. A healthy coping mechanism. The healthiest, totally sustainable long-term. They finished dinner and cleaned up together, moving with the practiced ease of people who cohabitated for far longer than a week. Jade washed while Victor dried, their conversations flowing from serious to silly and back again without effort. I have a question, Victor said as he dried a plate with careful precision. Shoot. This morning, when I was laughing at the animal videos, you looked at me with an expression I could not quite interpret. What were you thinking? Jade paused, considering her answer. I was thinking that I'd never seen you look so young. Not physically young. You look the same as always. But the joy on your face, the genuine laughter, it made me realize how much weight you carry. How much of your time is spent being the warlord, the vampire, the protector. And in that moment, you were just a guy laughing at a stupid dog video. It was beautiful. Victor set down the plate. I spent so long being what others needed me to be. The leader, the warrior, the monster when necessary. I had forgotten how to simply be. Then we'll practice. Not everything has to be significant or meaningful. Sometimes things can just be fun. Fun. Yes. I'm learning the value of fun. Good. Because tomorrow, when you introduce me to video games, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and also probably a lot of you dying repeatedly in Dark Souls. That sounds threatening. It absolutely is, but you'll love it, eventually, after you get over the rage. They migrated back to the living room, settling into their usual positions on the couch. Jade curled against Victor's side, his arm around her shoulders, her laptop balanced on their knees. She pulled up her YouTube homepage again, looking for more content to share. What about music videos? Victor suggested. You have shown me many songs, but I have not seen their visual accompaniments. Oh, that's a great idea. Music videos can be absolutely wild. Let me pull up some classics. She started with Michael Jackson's Thriller, because if you're going to introduce someone to music videos, you start with the best. Victor watched in fascination as the story unfolded, zombies dancing with precision, the miniature horror film playing out to one of the most iconic songs ever recorded. This is remarkable, he said when it ended. A complete narrative told through music and dance. We had nothing like this in my time. Music videos are art form. Some directors use them to tell complex stories. Some just create beautiful visuals. Some go completely weird. There's a whole range. She showed him more. Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, which he loved for its theatrical elements. Beyoncé's Single Ladies, which impressed him with the choreography. Bokego's treadmill video, which made him laugh at its creative simplicity. By the time they finished her curated music video tour, it was late evening and Jade was yawning despite her best efforts to stay awake. You should rest, Victor said, feeling her exhaustion through their bond. You gave me your blood yesterday. Your body is still recovering. I'm fine. Not even tired. You yawned 3 times during that last video. Yawning is just oxygen intake regulation. Doesn't mean I'm tired. Jade. Fine. I'm a little tired, but I don't want to stop. This is fun. Victor shifted, adjusting their positions so Jade could lie down with her head in his lap. Then rest here. I will continue watching your peculiar internet content while you sleep. You're just gonna watch me sleep again, aren't you? Perhaps. I find it peaceful. That should be creepy, but it's actually kind of sweet. I contain multitudes. Jade settled against him, pulling a throw blanket over herself. Victor's hand found her hair, fingers carding through curly red strands with gentle repetition. She felt herself relaxing, the comfortable weight of exhaustion pulling her towards sleep. Victor? She murmured. Yes? Thank you for laughing today, for letting... Creepy, but also sweet. You're very confusing. I am adaptable. Yes? Thank you for laughing today, for letting yourself enjoy something simple. It means a lot to me. Thank you for showing me that joy still exists in the world, that I am still capable of experiencing it. You give me more gifts than you realize, Little Flame. Little Flame. I still really like that nickname. I know. I can feel its rub on whenever I use it. Your pleasure at being called something affectionate. Are you analyzing my emotions? Always. It is one of my favorite activities. Creepy, but also sweet. You're very confusing. I am adaptable. Jade smiled against his leg, feeling sleep pulling her under. The last thing she heard before consciousness faded was Victor pulling up another video, the sound of Animal Chaos playing softly, and his quiet chuckle at whatever foolish thing was happening on screen. She dreamed of raccoons and roller coasters, of blood bonds and laughter, of an ancient vampire learning to find joy in the stupid, simple pleasures of modern existence. And when she woke up hours later, Victor was exactly where he promised to be, watching over her, his cool hand still in her hair, her laptop open to a paused video of cats being confused by technology. You stayed, she said sleepily. I always stay. I will always stay. Good. Because I'm keeping you. I would not have it any other way. They sat there in the quiet darkness, the bond between them humming contentedly, both of them understanding that this was as important as any grand gesture or dramatic declaration. This comfortable domesticity, this simple companionship, this ability to laugh together at stupid things and find joy in shared experience. This was love. Not just the passion and intensity, not just the blood bond and supernatural connection, but this. Funny animal videos and Chinese food and falling asleep on each other while the internet played in the background. And somehow, impossibly, it was perfect. End of episode 8.